Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to day one of our Google Apps class. This is the overview of Google Apps. So this is a very important one. As I said earlier, we get so focused on the 8 Google Apps that we oftentimes don't see how they're part of Google Apps or how they work together. And so this week we're going to be focusing on a very high level of how Google Apps can help us and how you can incorporate it into your employment planning workshop. Because it's very important, as we say before, it's not what you know, it's what you can communicate that you know. So, okay, hold on, Billy. So if you are in an interview and you start talking, hold on, guys, hey, come on, please. So if you are in an interview and you get asked a question, okay, you're talking about these Google Apps, what do you know? And you can't articulate it, what are they going to think?
That you don't know what you're talking about.
That you don't know the Google Apps. Okay, so one way to take this week is to understand what we're doing. The other way to take it is when you get in your interview and they ask you, what do you know about Google Apps, you can articulate it. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to focus on the very high-level stuff in Google Apps today. Now, we study 8 Google Apps. What is in California? What is one of them?
Drive. Students have said Chrome, Drive,
Maps, Voice.
Okay. Voice. Okay. What else?
YouTube.
YouTube. Okay. What's another one? That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
You have Google Plus.
Google Plus. Okay, Google Plus. We got Maps over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. What's missing?
Calendar.
No, calendar's
No, calendar's there?
Yeah, calendar's
Calendar's on here.
Did you have
Chrome.
Chrome.
Chrome?
Chrome.
What about Docs?
Google Docs is part of Drive.
That was the first one we said.
Okay. So some of these have multiple things that come off of them. What's part of Google Plus? Hint, we're using it right now. Hangouts, right. Hangouts, circles, communities, right. Right, so now, how many Google Apps are there? Right, so let's see, let's just quickly go up to our grid. So there's 9, right? We go up to the 9 square grid. If we click more, there's 7 more. So that's 16, but if we click even more,
right.
How many are there?
Zero.
It's at the bottom. Okay, there's a lot.
Blogger.
Okay, so if you click on the grid, at the very bottom of the grid, it says more. Tony.
What?
Right here at the bottom of this grid, it says more. Okay, so there are 8 apps that we focus on. And some of those apps, like Google Plus, has at least 3 other apps that could be standalone in it. Drive has a couple apps or a couple things in it that could be standalone apps. So Renee mentioned Docs. I put down Forms. Who knows what Forms are?
Forms.
No. Forms are not spreadsheets. Huh?
That's what you made our test.
Right. It's a database application. Okay? You create a form. You create a form and it puts it into a database that looks like a spreadsheet. So when we take our tests on Friday, which test is it that has the form?
Employment.
Yeah, correct. The employment planning test that we do on Fridays is built on a Google form. And then there's presentations in there, right? Under Google, when it says create, if we go to Drive, right, and there's a box that says create. So if I do it here, I go to Drive, and I want to create, I can create a folder, a document, a presentation, a spreadsheet, a form, or a drawing. So these 8 Google apps have other apps inside of them. Now, one of the things I thought was interesting, and this is something that everybody should write down, you should know. We just watched a tutorial video, right? Okay, now, does anybody remember what he said at the very end? Right, yeah, Renee was right. It was actually kind of like a sales pitch video. It said, you can sign up now, it takes less than 60 seconds. If you're not the person who does it, forward this to your system administrator. Okay, now the key takeaway, A, it's very powerful to do videos. B, that was less than 2 minutes. Any video that you do should be less than 2 minutes. And we're going to do an exercise here this week. I think everybody, we should try to do it in California too, maybe the next time around, because it's going to be a little bit confusing. How many people here have smartphones with cameras? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Do you, Billy?
That's a dumb
Dumb phone, Fred Flintstone phone. How about, no, 5. 5, okay. The idea is to break into groups and create a little YouTube video.
Oh, yeah, that'd be lovely.
About the downtown project that we can share with Tony Shea. Okay, so that'll take us through the process of creating something, editing something, but it would be just a 2-minute little video. Okay, so now, does anybody in California have any questions about the Google apps that we can start with? And I want to assure you that whatever question you have, at least 5 other people are wondering the same thing. So be the person who asks the question.
What was the question that you asked to ask?
The question I asked you to ask is, do you have any questions about Google Apps? Because if everybody already knows it, then we don't need to do this. But I get confused myself. How about Fernando? What is the cloud?
Different Google apps.
The cloud.
The internet.
Applications.
Applications group together. That's the hard drive.
It's a browser.
The browser, right? No, it's a hard drive. It's a storage capacity. There you go.
It can be accessible from anywhere.
Yeah, there's a lot of things. It's like a cloud that's not really clear, and you can see it better from far away. When you're in the cloud, it's hard to know where the cloud is. When I was at camp, we had our camp was up in the mountains. Camp Grayskull is what they called it, and it was so high up that it was in the snow. And so when you're in a cloud, do you know what it looks like when snow happens?
No.
It doesn't fall, it just appears. It just snowflakes just pop into existence when you're in the cloud. And so that's a lot like the cloud. It's much easier to see it when you're not in it, when you're looking at it from a distance. Basically, one way to distinguish the cloud from the non-cloud is if you have it stored, if it's a software program stored on your computer that you can only access if you're sitting at your computer, that's not the cloud. Okay, that's a local software, and that's how it used to be. Now, the cloud is when you can access your data from anywhere. So what has happened over the last several years is a lot of companies, maybe the last 10 years, started creating applications or putting software programs out there remotely. Salesforce.com is one example, where all you need to do is get to the internet and be able to log on to your account, and all of your data is stored there. So that's what the cloud has come to mean, is wherever you are, your data, your programs are there. Now, for the people in California, we spent from about 9:30 to 10 to 10 trying to get the Kindle reader on the machines, on everybody's computer. And we found there's basically two ways to do it: the hard way and the not so hard way, right? Okay, that is a cloud application. The Kindle Cloud Reader is an application. It's not a Google app that we studied. And I think we came to the conclusion that the best way to do it is to go into Chrome, under your Chrome App Store. Was it the Chrome Web Store?
App Store.
App Store? I thought it was Web Store.
That's where I
Yeah.
read it.
Okay. Go into Apps. The lower right-hand corner is the store, and put in Kindle, and download or enable the Kindle Reader. Anyway, that's what we did from 9:30 to 10 to 10 to get this cloud-based app. Well, the easy way was if you did the cloud-based app on your system. The hard way was what? To download the whole thing, because then you had to have a Kindle account or an Amazon account. You had to download it. You had to make sure that you had administrative privileges to download the program, and it got very frustrating. Then for a lot of people, there had to be a verification text message sent, and but on the other hand, who did it through the Chrome store? And it was easy, right? It was just a couple buttons, right?
Well, no, I didn't.
Okay, well, the people who did it the less hard way. So the purpose of the cloud is to make life faster, easier, and better. That's the purpose of the cloud. There are things that you need to know to make it easy, because otherwise you're going to want to shoot your machine, right, Brian? Okay. It's like cards. Think of this. Somebody explained it to me about 20 years ago. It's like playing cards. If you don't know how to play cards, you don't know what a deck of cards is, you don't know how many suits in the deck, you don't know how many cards in each suit, and somebody's trying to teach you to play Texas Hold'em, is it easy or hard? It's impossible, or it's really, really hard, because they don't know the basics. But if you know the basics of cards, how many cards are in a deck of cards, what are the cards, what are the suits in the deck of cards, which ones are high and low, if you know those variables, and somebody wants to teach you to play Texas Hold'em, it's not hard to learn the rules, right? You're going to get dealt these number of cards, and then these cards are going to get dealt face up, and then this happens, and these things happen. Now, that doesn't mean you learn the strategy of how to play poker, but you know how to play that game. And it's the same thing on the cloud. There's certain fundamental basic things that you need to know, or just like learning to play Texas Hold'em, if you don't know the basics of cards, it's going to be a very frustrating, bad experience. So, and the basic type things are, you generally have to be logged on to something. Why? Why would you have to be logged on to something to be able to take advantage of the cloud?
So that they know who you are, so they can.
Exactly. So anybody who has one of these knows that you have something that's unique about this. What is that? What do I have that's unique, that I'm the only person that has, that nobody else who has one of these has? Phone number, right. Okay, why? Why do I have a unique phone number?
You're the only one that.
Well, but why?
Separate you.
Yeah, right. So if somebody wants to call me, there's a way that they can call me as opposed to anyone else. Because life would be very bad if everybody shared the same phone number, right?
Yeah. It used to be.
That's how it works. Okay. So the starting point with the cloud is you have to be able to be identified. It has to be, if you send a query out there, if you ask a question of the cloud, how do I get a Kindle reader? It needs to know who to answer. Now, your IP address is one way that it does that, but it doesn't know who you are. It's just that's the IP address of your computer. So it knows where to send it, but it doesn't know who it's sending it to. So to download stuff or to create an account, you have to have an email account. So we have a new student here. Brandon is here new. He was here a few weeks ago, finishing up as a, what was it, your culinary or what? What were you taking?
I wanted to finish medical billing.
No, but what were you doing before the last 3 weeks?
ES classes.
Okay, so he was doing some other classes somewhere else. And now he's here, and we'll have him up before the end of the class. But he's kind of not able to do a lot because of what?
I'm new, yeah.
No, because he doesn't have his Gmail account.
Oh, yeah. That's
Okay. He now does have his Gmail account. Rob is fixed getting that set up. So if you don't have an account, you're not going to go anywhere. So when you start trying to do something, this is for everybody now. This is one of the basics of the cloud. When you start trying to get an app, you have to be prepared to answer questions of who are you. Okay, so if it says, what is your phone number, it's better to know that you need to know that. You can't blame the cloud if it says, what's your phone number, and you say, I don't remember. Okay, don't blame the cloud, okay, for stuff like that. If you can't remember your email address or your password, don't blame the cloud. And remember, we're not going to remember 70% of the stuff we do. Even if you say, I always say to myself, I don't need to write my password down because I will remember this one. Okay, I'm going to remember this password. Just write your password down.
Do you think it's a bad idea just to have one password for everything? If it's a really good password.
Well, I think that everybody should have more than one email account, and you should have different passwords. And so, like, I have my personal Yahoo account. Everything that goes to my Yahoo account is the same password. And it's the same as my Netflix account. I don't care who looks at my Yahoo stuff. That's not exactly true. I actually have an email for my Yahoo, and then I have my low security apps, like Netflix and Hulu and things. I have one password for all of that I share, because it's not a big deal. And then I have varying degrees of stuff. And there are applications you can have that keep track of your passwords for you.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. You just have to have a master password. So here's a cloud-based, it's sort of a cloud-based app. It's called Dashlane. Dashlane? Dashlane. Dashlane. That's a free app that memorizes your passwords. Yeah. Okay. And it will create secure passwords for you that you don't really even need to know. Okay, but it will. You can find out what they are. You just don't need to remember it. You just need to remember your master password to get into it.
They have some that you can after you set everything up, you can just click on it and it'll take you right in. Some of the passwords.
Yeah, well, that's like Dashlane. Okay, so now speaking about passwords, passwords are very important. The really smart people have a cipher key, have something that they just leave out. Like you can put on your computer, here's my password, but it's in code. Okay, and so the thing to do, and this is in California, think of a 10-letter word where none of the letters repeat. Like, say, black, well, that would only be 9. Black, what?
Right, R-I-G-H.
Okay, black right. Okay? Now that's the only word you need to remember. Black right. And then you take the letters and you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0. Okay? And then whatever your password, you come up with a password that are combinations of the letters. So you might say K, C, G, T, B, K.
That's a little extreme, isn't it?
Now then you put the numbers below it. So this is 5, 4, 3, and you do this, and then you can put this number right on the computer.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
No, it's a cipher. Oh, right.
Okay, you can put the numbers wherever you want. You can have all kinds of different passwords for everything, and you have written on a little Post-it note, okay, for this thing, here's my password for this, here's my password for that. You can have a little book that has all of your
Why
passwords in
can't
it.
everybody just pick up your book and use your decipher number?
Because you don't write this, you don't write black right in there. You don't put the key, the cipher key, in your book. You just, that's the one thing you have to remember.
Right.
Okay? Anyway, for our purposes today, for the cloud, there are certain fundamental basic things you need to know. If you don't know these, the cloud experience is going to be very bad. So if you don't know those things, you're going to know that you don't know them very quickly because you're going to immediately get frustrated. And instead of getting frustrated at the cloud, just go and learn the things that you don't know. In your book, make sure you have your username, passwords, your phone numbers, the kind of stuff that you need to have written down. You know, you should have an address, like the school address, written down if you're going to be doing stuff. Okay? Then once you do that, then the apps should be very similar in what you need to do to get them to run. It's like going to an ATM machine, right? Every ATM machine is slightly different, but you don't have to learn a lot to use a different ATM machine, right? You know there's fundamental basic things. What's the first thing you need to do when you go to an ATM machine?
Your PIN number.
No, not your PIN
Oh,
number.
slide.
You have to put your card in.
Yeah.
Okay. Then it's going to might ask you English or not English. Okay. Then it's going to say put in your PIN number. Then it's going to say, do you want a receipt or what? You know, it's going to do whatever. They're all basically the same. But if you walk up and it says put in your card, and you say, what does that mean?
Yeah, you're.
Okay. It's not going to be a pleasurable experience. So that's the same thing with the cloud. Now, part of the reason we use Google Apps, every one of these apps, other people have different apps. What's a competitive app with Google Hangouts? California. What is it?
Competitive.
What's competitive with Hangouts? Now, what's somebody else's product that competes with Hangouts? Uvu. What's the number one? Skype. Skype is competitive with Google Hangouts. Okay. The thing is, when you use the Google Apps, the fundamental rules are the same for all of the apps. When you go do things on Skype, they have their own rules. So if we had if we had a different map that wasn't a Google map, they're out there. What's one of the big Maps Plus? What?
MapQuest.
MapQuest. Okay, we could use MapQuest, but then we'd have to know the MapQuest fundamental rules. And we could be using Skype. We could be using, instead of Google Plus, we could be using Facebook. Chrome, we could be using Internet Explorer. Drive, we could be using Microsoft's cloud stuff. And each of those might be better. MapQuest might be better than Google Maps. It used to be. Okay, Skype might be better than Hangouts. It used to be.
What's the other
It's been around longer.
On the bottom of Hangouts?
Communities, circles. Okay? But The trade-off is, do you want to make it easy to learn a lot of apps, or make it so that you have to learn all of the basic rules for every app? Okay? And the idea, what the school chose is, we are going to make it easy to learn a lot of apps, and besides that, we believe Google is the right company to think of in terms of the long term. Okay. I think Skype was independent, then they were bought by eBay. I don't know if they went back to being independent, but you know, as they say, it's not always the fastest horse that wins the race, but what?
Strongest.
No,
Most enduring.
that's the way to bet.
Most enduring.
Okay, you usually want to bet on the one that's most likely to win. Even though the one that's most likely to win isn't always going to win, the best strategy is to go with the highest probability of success. And we think that's Google. At the school, we think it's Google, but it also is an easy way to learn a lot of apps. And but the key thing to take away is that the fundamental rules on all of the apps are the same. And it's easy to get to the apps. So in California, if you're in Gmail, what's the easiest way to get to Calendar? In California, to get to it. Because it already comes with it. Once you have your Google account, you already have these apps. It comes with your Gmail. Go ahead.
Graciela said click on the square of squares and click on calendar.
Right, so there's that little black grid, that 9-square grid. You can get to every Google app, and how long does it take to go to that 9-square grid? Somebody. 2 seconds?
Half a second.
Half a second. Okay, I think it takes 0.68 seconds because I timed it. So in almost no time, you can get to any of the Google apps. So that's big. We don't have to change. We don't. It does. And how long does it take for that app to come up? Somebody try it. Start from Google Plus and go to Gmail. How long does it take to get to your Gmail account?
Gmail?
Not long. Okay. It kind of depends upon the internet speed and how many people are doing it. But yeah, it's very quick. And one of the benefits is that it shares your contact list. These things share your list. If you are in Skype, what do you have in Skype?
Contact.
You have your contacts in Skype. And is that contact list the same as in your Gmail? No. It's not unless you spend time to make sure it is, right? If you are in Hangouts and you look at your Google contacts, are they the same? Your Gmail? Trick question. No, not necessarily. You have access to all of them, but you have to add them to circles to get them into your Google Plus. But you pull from that same collection of contacts. So when you have in Gmail, let's everybody go to Gmail right now. And go to the red box in the, I think it's a box.
No, Gmail name.
No, on the left side. On the left side.
With the little wheel?
Right. No, not the wheel, not the wheel. On the left side.
The Gmail words. Gmail.
Okay, so I'm loading my Gmail.
Yeah, mine says
I love that.
Oh.
Gmail, the word.
Okay, where is Gmail? Where it says mail. On Gmail, where it says mail.
Says Bell or merge.
Contacts, tasks.
Mail. So you click on the down arrow on mail.
where it says Gmail and Red.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, what comes up?
Contact.
Contact tasks.
Which part?
You have to be in Gmail. In the upper left, it says Mail. Okay, so one of the things that comes with Gmail that we don't really study separately as an app is your contact list. And the way email works, who's been here and went through the week of Gmail, any email you receive or send automatically goes into your contacts as other or something. And we're not going to talk about that right now. But one of the benefits of using Google Apps is there is a shared contact list. And even though you might have to do things, so for example, again, in Google Plus, you have to add people to circles if you want to send them something. Well, it's not really true, but you have to add people to circles. If they're in your contact list, it's easy to do that.
Okay, well, I don't have anybody in contact.
I do.
It's
Okay.
what I have is contact. You're in there.
Right, so what Google does, when you send or receive emails, they go into your contact list down at the bottom, called what?
Okay. So that's our contact list, the school, our classmates.
It's called Other Contacts. Okay, look in your Other Contacts. What are some numbers that you have in Other Contacts? Angel, how many do you have in Other Contacts? Right next to it says how many other contacts you have.
I got 3 other contacts.
3, okay. 4.
Great.
You haven't sent any or received an email?
No.
Okay,
Okay,
so
got circles.
I have 331. How about in Cal? How many do you have in Other Contacts?
I have
Other contact.
right. I have 6.
Okay, so that's in the section in your contacts. So you went to Gmail, you pushed on the down arrow next to the word mail in the upper left. That came up with your contact list, and if you scroll down on the left side, below all the different boxes that you have, inboxes that you have, or folders that you have, one of them now down towards the bottom is going to be called Other Contacts.
Director, I click on the friends, and it says I have 30 friends. So
Okay.
that's,
So that's because of you have a Google circle called Friends.
oh, okay, so that is my Google search.
That's your circle. Right. So again, but Malika, you're bringing out the point, which is Google combines all of these things and makes it easy for you.
Yeah, because I got phone numbers, address.
Right. Okay. So other contacts are emails that have been sent or received that you have not added them to your contact list. It's just an email address. So trying to make it easy for you on who it is. And you know, one of the things that we would do when we go to the Google Apps app week, learning Google Plus apps, is to go into our contact list and add everybody into a circle so that you don't have anybody on your contact list who's not part of a circle. Okay? So one of the benefits, again, high level, of why Google Apps is Google works seamlessly with all of the Google apps. Whereas if we were using different people's apps, they would not necessarily work seamlessly. We'd have to learn different rules. We'd have to do different things. We'd have to have different contact lists, and life would not be as easy. Here, we're trying to make it simpler, easier, and better. Now, let's think in terms of picture. Does everybody, if I say picture a guy high jumping, does anybody not know what that means? Can anybody not picture that? Okay.
As in track and field?
Yeah.
Yeah, the stick.
Stick? No, that's pole vaulting. Okay, we have one person. How many in California? Okay, that's where you run and you jump over a bar.
Yeah.
And if you hit the bar falls off, you don't get any points.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, how high do you have to get over the bar?
You just gotta make it over the
You
bar.
just got to make it over the bar. Okay? For our purposes, the standard is we're just trying to make it over the bar. We're just trying to learn how to use these apps. Okay? We're not looking for the app that's going to land us on the moon, because we're not going to the moon. Okay? It doesn't need to be that precise. Because if you're off by 1 degree here, when you get 250,000 miles out, how far did you miss the moon by? A
We
lot.
already quit breathing, so it really don't matter.
Okay. You've missed it by a long shot. So a key thing here is, you know, we're not saying these are the best apps, but I think they are overall. We're not doing them because we say they're the best apps. We're doing them because they're good enough. And when nobody else is using, and no other businesses are really on the cloud, how good do you have to be good enough?
Good enough.
Okay? You just have to be better than what they have, which is better than nothing. Okay? Now, however, back in the 70s and 60s, there was an expression, which is nobody got fired choosing IBM. You ever heard that expression, Rob? Okay, that was before Rob's time. So that was in the beginning days of computers when IBM was much more expensive than anyone else. And people would choose, well, we're going to buy IBM computers. Why? They're more expensive. Because they're going to work. I'm not going to get fired. You choose something that looks good on paper, it's cheaper, it's supposed to do this, and it doesn't work, you could get fired. So the expression was nobody got fired choosing IBM. Yeah, it's more expensive, but it's the safe bet. Google apps are a safe bet. If you want to get a company to go from no cloud to the cloud, you're not going to get fired if you choose Google Apps. Okay? You don't have to be the best mapping app, the best calendar app, the best communication app, the best video. They don't have to be the best, even though I think they are the best. They don't have to be the best app because it's better than what they have, and Google ain't going out of business in the next 2 years. Okay? They're going to be around. And as we've seen in this class, they're always updating the stuff they do. They're buying companies, but the apps that they have, they're always improving them. They're always doing that. They're always bringing on new things, changing old things, trying to make things better. So there's not going to be any, if you say Google Apps, you don't have to be embarrassed about trying to get your company to go to the cloud on the Google Apps pony. Well, that wouldn't be a good example. You can't get to a cloud. Do unicorns fly?
No.
Oh, I thought they did.
No. Pegasus flies. Pegasus flies.
Okay, Pegasus flies. What is the national animal of Scotland? Somebody look it up. The unicorn is the official national animal of Scotland.
So they don't have to be real. Holistic.
What do you mean?
Real.
It's the national animal of
It's not a
Scotland.
real animal. It's a
Well, they're
it's a
extinct.
fantasy animal.
They're extinct.
What?
It's a unicorn.
A unicorn?
The unicorn is extinct.
Really? So there's
fictitious
proof
creature.
that
It's not fictitious. If you go back to the first King James Bible, they talked about unicorns in them.
That is
You guys didn't know that unicorns
no,
are
I thought it was
extinct?
a fake animal. It's like Pegasus.
Wow.
The only
Scary.
proof is in the Bible?
Huh?
The only proof of their existence is in the Bible?
No, they have fossils.
What about Pegasus? Is it
Let
real?
me,
I don't know about the Pegasus, but the jackalope is also real.
different
Jackalope.
All right. We got dragon
Okay.
shoes.
All right, so we're almost out of time. Questions you have in California?
Ed, some of the students, their YouTube accounts have been suspended. They received emails over the weekend regarding their YouTube accounts. So they're.
What is the message about it being suspended? What does it say? Like, what is the reason?
They said that it was violations of, was it terms and privacy or something like
Yeah,
that?
you are if you've been redirected to this page from a particular product, it means your access to this product has been suspended. And then your access to this Google product has been suspended because of a perceived violation of either the Google terms of service or product-specific terms of service.
It's related to terms of service, Ed. Has any?
Sorry, Crystal, what? I was looking, somebody has it on their machine here.
Okay. So
It said what?
it said that it was a suspension as a result of a violation of terms of service, either with the Google product or with Google itself.
Okay. So
Oh, yeah, I heard that too.
Yeah, when you go to your sign-in log.
on what? What were you trying to sign into, Carla?
I just went to open YouTube to sign in, and it says unable to access.
Okay.
Google product.
Why don't we have everybody try to sign to YouTube?
It says you can read.
Okay.
See how many people cannot get there. Okay. Everybody go to YouTube. How do you get to YouTube? You go to the black grid.
Sign in.
It's about our policies and products that we're misusing YouTube.
YouTube.
And then sign in from a grid, it's the same thing. Unable to access the Google product.
So who is able to get in using their school account?
Oh, school code?
Yeah. Okay,
They said
nobody?
the product and policies have been violated.
Yeah, I know, but we need to know exactly why. Okay, Troy is in. Marion is in. Gabrielle is in. How about you, Angel? Can't get to
I'm
YouTube?
on YouTube, right?
Did you? I didn't go to the regular YouTube when I tried to sign in. Saying that's good.
Okay, now what about Brian? Okay, Renee?
How do you sign in?
Okay, so we're just about out of time, so we'll have to investigate that.
Okay, so Ed, so far 5 students.
Okay,
Where you go to your account?
okay. So we'll investigate that later today. Any other questions?
No, I think that's
I
it.
don't think it's unique to this school. It could very well just simply be a YouTube thing, a Google thing, and 95% of the people who have YouTube accounts are getting it. Okay,
I'm on YouTube. I don't have to sign in, right?
so we'll see you tomorrow.
I'm on YouTube.
Yeah, I see what it is.
Okay, great. So we'll continue this tomorrow, and hopefully we'll have an answer to the mystery. I encourage people in California to go to may1.us, MAYONE.us. It was up to 450,000.
What did I say, Fred?
461 now? 461,000 as of now. So, okay, California, thank you. We'll see you tomorrow.
Bye.
Bye.
You may have to do
They said you can contact them, Rob.
I'm sending them out.